In last video, we basically covered how to check your code coverage using the Jacoco tool. Depending upon how much time you have spent on writing the unit tests, you will get a particular number. But once you get a particular number, and if it is very low, then in any professional organization, the first thing that you will encounter is how to improve the code coverage. One is you can spend manually writing lot of unit tests and then run Jacoco tool and see whether the code coverage is improving. But writing manually the unit tests is going to be a really time consuming, and that is where agentic way of writing the unit tests can prove to be really useful. So I wanted to take this opportunity to basically show you how to go about improving the code coverage of your code agentically. So in this video, you will learn two things, that is how to really apply some of the concepts that I had talked about on working with agentic tools while coding, and then apply it in the context of unit testing and learning how to improve the code coverage of your application. So without much further ado, let's get in. Hi folks, CodeTutor here, and my name is Anil Deshpande. So this is your Codebase. It is the same country info app application that we have been developing, and let us just see what is the code coverage of this particular code right now. So let me open the terminal. So I can write Gradle W. If I am not wrong, it is Jacoco test report. So let me open the build Gradle file and check what is the task. Yeah, so that is the one, and let me hit run. So the report is generated. Let me go to build reports. Here is the report. Let me open it in the browser. As expected, I have written only one test. There are no other tests written, and that particular test is 100%. But I need to write unit tests for a lot of other codes. So how do we go about it? The first thing is we have to prepare our code for writing the unit tests agentically. That basically means creating the context for the agent to understand how the code is structured, and that can be done creating a README file. So this is a README file that I have created, which basically talks about what this particular application is, what is the architecture that it is following, what is the tech stack, what are the dependencies, networking. So think of this file that you would give to any developer who wants to work on this particular code base. So once you have this context, the agent can use this context to work next. And once again, I did not write this README file manually. I once again used agent. I am using Copilot, GitHub Copilot to do that. And if you go to the top here, this is the prompt that I gave. I told it that it is a native Android project implemented using Kotlin. And after analyzing the codebase, create a README file, and I gave it a little bit of context that this is following a MVVM architecture with view model frameworks and everything. If you are wondering why should I tell all this, shouldn't agent figure it out on its own, I suggest give all the information that you can give. Don't think that since it is AI, you figure it out. Don't take that particular approach. Think of that you are nudging the agent to behave in a particular manner, and to get the right behavior, any information that human can give to agent, you should give. So the README file is done, and I think the first thing that we have to do is we don't want to lose it. So I want to commit it. Once again, I can ask the agent to do the commit. So commit the changes, and agent should be able to commit the changes. And after this, the next part is you need to really identify the classes and the packages for which you want to write the unit tests. And once again, to do that, we will give a prompt. I have a ready-made prompt which will be copy pasted here, but I will explain it. So what I have said in that particular prompt is, this is an Android application of details of which can be found in README MD file. And I have told the AI agent to follow a bottom-up approach where you start from the database first and then repository and then move up the MVP architecture. And no need to test the data classes because I feel it is unnecessary until and unless data classes are really complicated. but you really want to test the behavior. That is the end goal of all unit tests. And create a detailed plan based on this particular approach. And I want it create the plan in a markup format containing multiple phases. And in each phase, it needs to have a task. AI agent will use this as a document reference to start the work phase wise. Let's give this task and relax. You can see that it has created a unit test plan markup file. This document outlines a comprehensive phase-wise unit testing strategy. The plan follows bottom-up approach, architecture, target exclusions, data classes, framework, unit mock coroutines. So it understands that which are the files that it needs to cover as a part of unit testing. Then it identifies all the classes, the dependencies. So under each phase, what all things it needs to cover. Then phase 2 repository layer. I think that is correct. Then the service layer in the phase 2. Then the repository testing. Yes, this is a right approach. Phase 3, then you have to test the utility classes. Priority is medium. Yes, I would say. And yeah, I think this is pretty good. So let me accept this, and once again you don't want to lose it, so I will ask you to commit unit testing plan md file to git. So now I have this particular plan which is phase wise. I will have to ask the agent to execute this particular plan in a phase wise manner. I can continue writing those instructions here in this particular chat window, but if you see here, this chat window has already gone on for quite long time. So you don't want to keep your context window very large. So what I suggest is start a new session so that the performance of the agent is better. It doesn't hallucinate as much. And of course, now since you have all your intentions documented in this particular markup files, that is you have readme file, you have the unit testing plan, everything, you can give context of these files to the agent so that it can do its work in much better way, and that is a much better approach. At the end of the day, even as a developer, what you are really trying to do is create a mental map of all the variables, all the files, all the folder structures, and then work on the code. This is in a way creating that mental map for the agent so that the agent can work on it. So what I will do is I will give the next prompt so that it can start working on first phase of writing the testing phase, that is database layer testing. You will find readme file which contains all the details of the application. Once again, I am trying to build the context here. The unit test plan contains detailed plan for writing the unit tests and improving the code coverage. And then I will say execute phase 1 plan from the unit test plan md to improve the code coverage. Once you write the unit test, always run the Jacoco report to check what is the code coverage for the code base for which you have wrote the unit test. After ensuring that the code coverage is more than 85%, consider it as done. Also create a detailed phase-wise code coverage documentation covering the work that was part of that phase. So you can see that I am giving a very detailed instruction to it, and let us just give this instruction and see what it does. So agent says that it is going to help execute the phase 1 of the unit test plan. It is reading the files. You can just now relax and see what it does. We will come back after some time. So you can see that it ran the Jacoco report and it is checking what is the current status of the code coverage, because that is what I had told it to do in the prompt. And then it will start writing the unit tests, and after writing the unit tests, it will run once again the Jacoco unit test report and see whether the numbers have improved, and then create a phase-wise completion report. You can see that it has created a converters test conversion of non-empty string list to JSON. Yeah, this is right. This is what even we had written manually when we were going through the unit testing series couple of months back. So yeah, this looks good. It is still working on other things. It now created a country DAO test. There are compilation issues. We will come to that a bit later. It created database provider test. To test the database, it used Robo Electric. Perfect. You expect it to do that, and it is now running the Jacoco report. It sees that build failed. It found a compilation error in the country DAO test. It is now trying to fix it. Area build is nullable, but it used a non-nullable comparison. That is the reason. So it fixes it. Once again, the build failed. I see there are several test failures. Let me analyze and fix them. Let it do its work. It is saying that it is simplifying the thread safety test and removing the problematic reflection based test. Let me accept and ask it to continue. There is a compilation error in the database provider test. There are duplicate variable names. Accept all. So maximum tool attempts reached. I can click on here and say continue. That is just a feature in Copilot. If it sees that you are running for pretty long time, it says that you have to say continue. As you can see, now all the compilation errors that were there have now been removed and everything is working. So it says that excellent, all 98 tests are now passing. Now let me run the Jacoco test report. Let it run. Yeah, and it is asking to open the Jacoco report. So it will try to see what is the statistics from the Jacoco test report. In the meantime, even I can open it. So can go here, build reports here, and open in associated application. Yeah, these are the different packages. These are the converter tests that we wrote, data access object test and repository test. So yeah, this is correct only. Of course, we will have to go through the individual test case files and see whether it is working fine or not, in terms of whether the code that has been generated, is it correct or not. You can't simply accept whatever agent gave to you. So what is the change that it has done? It has added Robo Electric in the Gradle file. Yeah, that is accepted. This is converter test. I will not waste your time by going through whether all this is fine or not. There might be some mistakes. We will have to fix them manually. So when it comes to agentic work, never trust and always verify. Always ensure that whatever the work that you have assigned to it, it has done it properly or not. Don't just accept whatever it is giving. And now you can see that it also created a phase 1 database coverage report. So this file is once again a markup file. It contains a summarization of what work it did as a part of phase 1, and it tells you that initially what was the code coverage and after phase 1 what is the improvement that has happened in each of those classes. Why do you want to create this particular file? Because it helps you as a developer. You remember what you have done, but if the work has been done agentically and if somebody wants to later vet the work that has been done by agent and it's not you, somebody else, then you need to have a documentation of what was done and how it was done. And this kind of documentation really helps. After this is done, I can now ask it to go back to the unit test plan, and from the unit test plan, ask it to execute phase 2, that is repository layer testing. And once again, you have to give a proper prompt and ask it to generate a detailed report of the work that it did as a part of the phase 2. And once the phase 2 is completed, once again check whether the work that it has done is proper or not. This is proper way to interact with agent. Don't just tell it to create unit tests. That's a sure shot way of messing up your code. This is not vibe coding. This is very much well planned, deliberate, well crafted, scoped way of giving instructions to Copilot. And this is anything but vibe coding. So this was like a bonus episode of unit testing with a twist, that is agentic capability added into the part of writing the unit tests. In the next video, we will meet with a That brings us to the end of this particular video. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video and subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye.